Okay, everyone, welcome to the 2025 MINI Countryman John Cooper Works, and this is a really fun vehicle. Honestly, at first I wasn't really kind of feeling connected with it, but out here on some twisty roads, you really do kind of feel the dynamics of this MINI powertrain, and it is honestly quite a fun vehicle to drive. Lots of quirks and features, as we just saw. If you haven't checked out the full tour and review, definitely go have a watch at that. But we're going to see the driving dynamics now of this vehicle. As we know, 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, paired to the 7-speed dual clutch transmission. We have paddle shifters, a boost mode as well, sport transmission, and endless amounts of experience modes we can change this vehicle in, including things like we have go-kart mode here. So our go-kart mode does a nice little sound effect when we go in. There's also fake engine noise currently on. Some fake pops going on there, but of course that's easily able to be turned off by just turning off your MINI sound. And honestly, it kind of sounds a little bit better when you just have this sound on, and definitely when the turbo whooshes are getting up there on the road. So we'll do both. We'll kind of see how they sound, and we'll see how this vehicle handles up here on the roads. But let's head off in our kind of base mode here, core. There's also efficient, as well as all of these endless other drive modes in here. You can have endless different screens on your center display as well. We can have our speedometer up here on any of these modes. They all are unique. We all can have our driver assistance view, radio, weather, a whole bunch of different screens can be popped up on here. And there's so many different unique things you can kind of customize with this system. It's really fun to use. And of course we have a heads-up display up here, so your speed's always in front of you. Really like that, and lots of fun details in here. But of course, check out the full review and tour for that particular one. So let's head off here in core mode and see how this John Cooper Works Countryman is out on the roads. Right off the bat here, one of the main things you're going to notice with this new generation MINI Countryman is that the 8-speed automatic gearbox is gone. Now we have a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and the shifts are noticeably quicker, though one of the things you're going to have to deal with now is that it is in fact a dual clutch. And if you're not familiar with the dual clutch, you know, sometimes coming off of a start, you're going to have a little bit of this lurchiness. You're not technically really supposed to be creeping in traffic with dual clutches too, because there are 2 clutches that are engaging and disengaging to, you know, to kind of switch between those gears. So you're going to notice some lurchiness. Same thing with the stop and start system. Sometimes it may not be the smoothest operation, but when you are on it, when you're driving it in a sporty fashion, I think this is really fun of a gearbox. I think it rose through those gears quickly. You know, it's not like a performance style gearbox, but it definitely gets the job done quite well, though I'm not too sure about how in normal operations this gearbox would be like to drive around. And when you are able to go through these experience modes here, you can quickly access a little bit more of that engine. You're going to get a little bit more revs going through these corners. And of course, you have a limited slip differential up front here to really help you tie you through the corners and make sure there's not torque steer kind of dragging you in and out different areas. So really like this platform here. Now, one thing I do wish is the steering is honestly quite go-karty in a sense, though it isn't the sharpest tool. You don't have the most amount of feel coming through that steering system, but I think for this vehicle and general comfort purposes, it is quite good. One thing you are going to notice up here though is it's a little bit bumpy, and even with these larger wheels here, you can definitely notice the stiffer chassis than a normal Countryman may typically be for you. So it does have adaptive dampers, and throughout the modes I believe it does kind of adjust itself. So if you go back down into this core setting, for example, in your experience modes, that's going to be a little bit more of a softer experience for you, but it's still going to be more on that aggressive, sportier, stiffer end in the Countryman space than regular. And since this is of course the John Cooper Works Countryman, we are getting a unique suspension and as well as upgraded brakes as well in this vehicle to really help you stop. I think naturally this engine has a really nice sound to it as well. It really isn't anything too raspy or too droney. It just has a nice raw raucous sound. And of course, if you want to have that more increased sound experience in your MINI, you can just go back into the drivetrain, turn on the MINI sound experience. And even in this core setting we have here, it is kind of offering a little bit more enhanced speaker inside, as you can hear. I'm going to roast through some gears for a second. You can definitely hear a little bit more sound pumped in there, and the second you go into something like go-kart mode, for example, that sound is really enhanced through the speakers here. There's even some kind of fake pops going on around you. this is pretty similar to its cousin, the BMW X2 M35, that does the exact same thing, and you can turn that sound on and off. But pretty much all the vehicles in this kind of sportier style segment of this SUV class do the same thing. Same thing with the GLA 35. It has really aggressive sounds that you actually can't even turn off as well. We experienced that earlier this past year. So I like the ability to turn it off and to get some more natural sounds in here, but it's a unique thing to have if you really want to have that enhanced driving experience. And overall, I think it's pretty fun. And we also have a boost function over here on our paddle shifter. So when you are rolling through your gears, you can access a little bit of overboost on those turbochargers. And you get 10 seconds of this really cool boost mode, and you definitely feel it kicking you in the back of your seat. It is pretty potent of an experience here. And the sport transmission really does enhance shifts for you when under throttle. And there are all those little fun mini sound pops and bangs we're getting in this vehicle. So going around roads and kind of enjoying this car really is a fun experience. And I'm glad MINI still was able to kind of keep this heads-up display unit in here. If they just went full Tesla style and just went with this center touchscreen over here, I don't think I'd be too happy. I'd like to still have this screen in front of me showing my speed and even turn-by-turn directions. And if you do use the MINI navigation system built into the vehicle, it's going to give you a little bit more of a nicer map display up there. But it's really clear, color, high resolution. I think it's a nice touch in this Countryman. And we have MINI's driver assistance package here on this particular one, which does work quite well. As you can see, it's essentially driving itself. It has a camera here tracking your eye movements. It has an insane amount of safety features, and it can change lanes for you by just the flick of a button, which I think is a really cool feature. And it's not one of those gimmicky ones where it just, like, you know, takes 20 seconds to move over a lane. It actually moves over quickly and aggressively. I believe you can change that adjustment there. I love the screens we have up there, as well as the visuals we're getting in the heads-up display to see what's happening on this highway assistance system. But really nice on the highway. It's quite quiet, and when you are driving in this core, or if you're going into the efficient modes, or green mode, for example, it is really quite calm and relaxing out on the highway, and it coasts and it tries to get the best efficiency you possibly can get out of this MINI powertrain here. And then, of course, well, yeah, guys, to sum up this MINI John Cooper Works Countryman experience, it's really fun. I kind of like how it drives just a little bit more than the X2 M35, which are largely mechanically identical, but I don't know, this just has a little bit more of a fun factor to it. And yeah, there's the go-kart mode, but it honestly does feel more like a go-kart than the X2 did. It feels just like a little bit lower, a little bit more agile. The X2 felt a little bit more premium, sporty. This has a little more fun sporty, I think, to it. So nonetheless, definitely check this vehicle out. I really like the new Countryman, the refinement, the material quality, all of the new stuff that's going on this vehicle is really top tier. I think BMW Group is doing a really fantastic job now with their new vehicle lineup, and this is just no exception here. I'm really impressed. So for the price, I think honestly worth the money. You're getting a lot of car for the money. Would I like more screens? Yes, but at the end of the day, I think this is a really fantastic vehicle. Definitely give it a check out. Otherwise, guys, thank you again for joining me on yet another video here on Allcarnews, and as always, stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.